First, it was a for sale by owner. Then a wholesaler got it locked up and continued to sell it as a for sale by owner. Then it expired. Then I was able to get inside the property, still too far apart on the price that the seller is looking for and what we are willing to offer her. So let's take a look at what the property looks like and discuss more details. Okay, as we are driving through this property or to the property, I like to get there a little bit early. In this case, the property was vacant and unlocked, so I really didn't have a time frame on when I was going to go see it. I was close to the property anyway, and I actually like vacant properties. However, I do not like to go to vacant properties alone. Anyway, we're driving down the street of the property. As we can see, the street itself is in good condition, not a lot of potholes or bumpiness as far as street goes. There is on street parking, however, it'd be more beneficial to have a parking space designated for the property itself. So it looks like we're coming up on the property here. Now, question is, where is the property? So we look like we're turning onto our street and whoa. Okay. Looks like our property is all the way at the top of the hill past this property here on the left. Question, how do we get up there? And two, where do we park? All right, as we are at the top of the property here, or at the top of the driveway, I would say, looks like we had a decent hike to get to the property. It will be better off if we are able to drive up. That way, we have less walking to do. It's a quick look out what the property looks like up there and what our piece of land next to us looks like. Question is, since this tree is leaning towards the house, will we need to chop it all the way down or just chop the height of it for it to no longer lean against the property and have a possibility of falling onto the property or itself? Okay. I don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm going to try to guess and see. Let's Are we looking at the roof? We are looking at the roof here. So this roof looks like it could be replaced. If you are going to replace everything else, you might be better off replacing the roof just in case purposes. Now, as we are walking to the back of the property, I want to see if there are any bowing or retaining walls that we would have to take care of. And also, I am taking a look at if the property is unlocked. So now that we see the back of the property here, you can see the retaining wall may need to be addressed. So we're going to take a quicker or closer look at that. So we can see, look at that big bowing right there at the property. So that's going to need attention as well. Okay. And the back of the property here, I mean, the siding looks like it's in great shape. You might just have to power wash it, make it in better shape, or repaint it. Okay. Now I see the property is unlocked, so let's take a look on the inside. Okay, I found myself a stick just in case. You never know what happens in these vacant properties. This looks like it could be a dining room, just because it's the back of the property before you leave. Most cases, it could be a kitchen as well. So I realized it was blurry, so I'm trying to get it a little bit clearer. It's kind of almost down to the studs, right? Looks like we're walking into that's the front door right there. That's interesting. Seems like it's blocked off. Let's see what the living room looks like. Okay. So let me see. We could possibly take this wall down to open the space up, as if the steps aren't on the other side. Or you could, some people do like the exposed steps. And it looks like we're going into the kitchen. So the kitchen is on the other side of the dining room, which leads out to the backyard. So you could possibly expand the kitchen there or keep it as is and see what happens there. So we got a living room, kitchen, dining room, downstairs. Let's go upstairs here. As we go up the steps here, one, we want to make sure nothing is going to jump out on us. That's why I have that magical stick there. So you never know what's going to happen when you do visit vacant homes, especially if you're by yourself. So we can see the bathroom. It's going to need repaired as well. Question is, do we expand the bathroom with that utility closet right there? But it seemed to be a decent size for a bathroom. We have one bedroom here and another bedroom there. I spotted a dead animal there. Now, once I spot a dead animal, I typically do not go into that room, especially if I am by myself. You never know who's in the property, and you never know what is in the property as well. So, question, do I go into this room with this dead animal? And I do not. Okay, so now that we know that it is two bedrooms right there and they are captive to one another, question is, do we take down this middle wall and make it a two-bedroom property, or do we find a way to make that back bedroom accessible without going through this front bedroom? Okay. And there's another room here. So this will be technically a two-bedroom or a three-bedroom captive, two beds. This is a pretty decent sized bedroom, so this will be the primary. Let's see if we could check the roof out. Please tell me I checked the roof out from this angle. I typically do, but you never know. All right, so the windows would need to be replaced as well. Okay, so that is the property walkthrough. One, we know that it needs everything: roof, uh, carpet, paint, kitchen, bath. So this will be a heavy rehab. The only thing is not down to the studs throughout the whole property. However, we do have to take into consideration the square footage of this property and the landscaping as well. So let's get into the numbers and see why the seller did not accept my offer. All right, so these numbers here, I had to block out the addresses. I know YouTube doesn't like to share that type of information. Anyway, as you can see here in the background, we have our after renovation value coming in at 120 to 140. That's not super high in this area. Um, so one right there, I know certain buyers don't really like to see anything under 150 to make it seem a little bit more worth it there. So that's a pushback on our end when we do possibly push this out to investors that invest in this area. After repair value coming in at 120 to 140. Now let's look at the numbers here at the top. As we see here, the solds, we're not getting much activity. We got one in August, July, oh sorry, June, and October, right? So these off bat are more than 3 months old if we're comping here in January. So December, November, October. So October is the only one, and we're at 136. And it's a two bed, one bath with 952 square feet. So we're a little bit less on that end, which is good. However, it is still at that 3 month mark. You want it to be less than 3 months to get a definite answer. So if this sold December 10th, absolutely, we know 136 or maybe higher than that because we have a little bit more of square footage. All we would do is times our 142. Sorry, we're going to change the color. We're going to times 142 by our square footage of 1,070, right? And that's where we can get our after repair value. So let me do that right now. We're going to do 142. I don't think you guys can see this here. 142 times 1070, and we're at 151. However, that is a two bedroom, and we are a three bedroom too, or three bedroom as well. Now, I would take, or I would add about 10,000 onto the property after repair value. However, this driveway will take up the budgeting for the difference of the bedroom counts. As you guys seen, that driveway will need to be attended to because nobody wants to park all the way at the bottom of their hill to walk all the way to their property. That's really not a good factor when it when you are buying a newly renovated house, right? So we have to take that into consideration. And that's why I wanted to be a little bit conservative when it came to our after repair value between 120 and 140. As we know, these are the four factors that came into um, coming up with our offer and being a little bit more conservative is the driveway to get to the property, the trees leading towards the home, they will need to be taken care of. The bowing and the retaining wall in the back of the property will need to be taken care of. And the fact that I didn't go into the basement, which is my suggestion. I really don't need to take that into consideration, given though landscaping is probably going to be the best thing you would have to take care of regarding this property in itself. So with that being said, we would need to be between 15 to 17,000 and they were looking for 53,000. So as you can see, we are a little bit far off when it comes to this and she went into retirement a couple of days ago as of this recording and we'll be looking to get some contractors to do the work for her. Now, do I think she's going to do it? Yes. But then again, you never know. She is retired, so she doesn't have anything to do, but it's still that factor with finding people who's actually going to do the work that you hired them to do. So this is something I do want to follow up with, but at the same time is not a super hot lead to follow up, given the fact that the landscaping is the most um, renovations that we would have to take care of, and um, and the fact that we're so far off on price, I don't think it's going to be realistic. So she knows where we're at moving forward. All I could do is maybe follow up with her maybe around like 3 months or so and see if she gotten anybody to take a look at the property or any contractors to start the work at least, or even if she handled the landscaping, I think we could come up a little bit because that takes our budget from the landscaping and put it into the house. We need to be between 15 and 17, and she's all the way at 53. And so I don't think there's any sort of gap in between that we will meet at least not at this time. But if you guys like these type of videos, I would love to do them more. I know that this one we didn't end up getting. However, I don't always want to post my success. That's unrealistic. Um, I'm not upset that we didn't get this. It's just only a learning curve and it's a numbers game. So that is it for me, guys. Until next time, I'll see you on the flip side.